Have you ever noticed that the louder the world gets, the weaker you become? You are surrounded by voices that aren't your own, living a life dictated by people who don't even know who you are. You become a stranger to yourself, drowning in a sea of digital noise and superficial validation. But what if the only way to find your strength is to lose everyone else? What if 6 months of total solitude is the price you must pay to finally become the master of your own soul? Most people are terrified of being alone because they are terrified of what they'll find when the music stops. They call it loneliness. The Stoics called it freedom. We live in a world that treats silence as a vacuum that must be filled. We are addicted to the presence of others because we are afraid of our own thoughts. We stay in toxic relationships because the alternative is a quiet house. We stay in soul-crushing jobs because we fear the judgment of the crowd. But the dark truth is that as long as you're surrounded by people, you are being programmed by them. You are absorbing their anxieties, their mediocrity, and their limitations. 6 months of total isolation is the only way to perform a hard reset on your consciousness. It is a period of voluntary social death, so that the real version of you can finally be born. The first lesson comes from Marcus Aurelius, the citadel of the mind. Aurelius believed that every man has an internal fortress where he can retreat at any moment to find peace. But your fortress is currently under siege. Every notification, every toxic co-worker, and every desperate need for approval is a breach in your walls. You have allowed the world to trample through your most sacred spaces. When you commit to 6 months of solitude, you aren't just hiding. You are rebuilding your defenses from the ground up. You are learning that your happiness cannot be held hostage by the opinions of others. You are reinforcing the gates so that nothing can enter without your permission. If you cannot sit in a quiet room for an hour without reaching for your phone, you are not a free man. You are a slave to the dopamine loop. You are a prisoner in your own mind, and the world holds the key. He is a king who fears nothing, and he is a king who desires nothing. Such a kingdom every man may give himself. This leads us to the second lesson, provided by the wisdom of Seneca, the poverty of choice. We live in an era of extreme overstimulation. We have been lied to, told that more friends, more parties, and more connections equal a better life. Seneca argued the opposite. He believed that we should periodically practice poverty to realize that our essentials are very few. By cutting off the world for 6 months, you perform a radical surgery on your ego. You begin to see the difference between what you actually need and what you were told to want. You realize that 90% of people you call friends are merely distractions from your own lack of purpose. They are companions in your stagnation. When the social calendar is empty and the phone is silent, you are forced to confront the dark truth. You've been using other people to avoid doing the work on yourself. You have been running from your reflection, using the noise of the crowd to drown out the screams of your untapped potential. In the silence, there is nowhere left to hide. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The third and final lesson belongs to Epictetus, the power of social death. To truly grow, you must be willing to be thought a fool or a bore by the outside world. The dark truth of staying alone for 6 months is that people will judge you. They will call you weird, antisocial, or broken. Your absence will be seen as an insult to their way of life. This is the ultimate test of the Stoic path. If you can withstand the social pressure to conform, if you can watch the world move on without you and feel no envy, you break the chains of the herd once and for all. You develop a self-reliance so potent that no workplace stress or family drama can ever rattle you again. You become the mountain that the wind cannot move. Most people spend their entire lives trying to be liked by people they don't even respect. You, however, will spend 6 months learning how to respect yourself. You aren't just surviving the silence. You are using it as a forge to temper your spirit into something unbreakable. You are becoming a person who does not need the world to be okay, and that makes you the most dangerous person in the room. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Society wants you distracted. It wants you tired, craving attention, and constantly looking for external validation. Why? Because a man who is content with himself cannot be sold a lifestyle he doesn't need. A woman who finds peace in solitude cannot be manipulated by the fear of being left behind. 6 months of solitude is the ultimate rebellion against a world that profits from your insecurities. It is the moment you stop being a character in everyone else's story and start writing your own with a steady hand. When you finally emerge from the shadows after half a year of silence, you won't be the same person who went in. You will be calm. You will be lethal in your focus. You will be free. Because once you face a silence and realize you don't need anyone to complete you, the world loses its power over you. You will finally understand why the louder the world gets, the weaker you become.